Right. Believe we are live. I'll double check. Think we're good. All right. What is going on, everyone? And welcome to the John Squared Gaming Show, episode 14. I am John, per usual. This is also John. How are we doing tonight, John? Good for the most part, except for, football season is upon us, and that uh you have no idea. You have no idea. It literally almost threw the entire vacation off course. I was asked at work to rate my vacation, 1 to 10, 10 being the best vacation I've ever had, one being the worst. And I said easily it would have been at an 8 if the Giants did not play football, not once, but twice. So that knocked it down like a point and a half. Absolute agony. Um, and you would think I would be used to it by now. Unfortunately, I am not. Um, yeah, there was a rip tide the next morning. I posted this on my Twitter, and I literally thought about just like letting it take me away and ending all my suffering. Hey, how's that for John T having thoughts of harming himself? Shout out to you if you still listen, cuz. I swear I'm not depressed. John, before we get into the gamer news, I have a quick like question slash story. Um, so I first day back from vacation, I am going to deposit some cash that I didn't spend on vacation into the bank account. As I'm pulling up to the mobile um the drive through, I rip a mean fucking fart, dude. It was like all that vacation food sitting in my stomach. It's still there. Yeah. I mean, it was pure rancid fucking gas, ass gas. And so I do that like as I'm pulling into the bank. My windows are rolled up. So I pull up and I obviously roll the window down, grab the box, put the deposit slip in, and I send it up. And before I sent the thing up, the lady comes up to the TV and she's like, "How you doing?" Doesn't have a mask. After I send this air with this package up, she comes back with a mask. Now, I just want to know, do you think that it's possible that my fart traveled through the bank tube and went into there and she smelt it, which caused her to put a mask on? Or do you think it was just a mistake and she remembered to put her mask on? You need to stop calling me a terrorist, bro. It's very regular.
Time. Uh, but for the sake of the podcast, I'm going to say that your beef went into the bank, and she said, "Jesus fucking Christ!"
Yeah,
I had to put a mask on.
I was afraid that that was the case. But yeah, so that's that. I've been thinking about it for a couple days now. Uh, well,
That's how I know how bad it was. Is that you thought about it? It was so bad that you're like, God, it might have actually gone in the tube, and she might have smelled it.
it still is like bad. I've been ripping ass since Lauren left. Because the kind husband that I am, I try my best not to do it when she's around. Um, because I know it's not like people are like, oh, you gotta get comfortable around people. Like that's how you know when you're comfortable is when you can fart around them. Like no, that like me and my brothers, our farts are different. We are different. It is not it. No,
Amen. I mean, y'all are a different breed.
truly, truly,
I remember there was one day we were at your apartment, and you and Zach kept going back and forth, just trading it off.
some
I thought we were all
dominoes.
gonna die. Yeah, that was
It's
not
not.
fun.
It's not good. Anyways, are you ready to talk about some gaming news?
Welcome to the gaming show.
So, for those of you who don't know, I was obviously out last week. We did not talk about any gaming news, and there's a pretty decent amount of stuff, some potentially juicy news coming out. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was uh, shortly after the PlayStation Showcase, which kicked off my vacation. We started off on the high note before football, but whatever. They had a like a developer interview with the God of War Ragnarok um, developers slash producers, whatever. It's not Cory Barlog who produced um, God of War 2018, but
He was there though, wasn't he?
yeah, he's still working on the game. I think he said he was just a producer, um, and he did elaborate a little bit onto the like God of War Ragnarok, and so I'm pulling this from Connor Sheridan at Games Radar. It says God of War Ragnarok will end the Kratos Norse story for a very practical reason. God of War Ragnarok will end the Norse chapter of Kratos mythos crossing tale, and the reasons behind keeping the story to two parts are both practical and narrative. After the initial God of War series, Halo, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and any number of examples, we just tend to expect big sci-fi fantasy media franchises to play out in trilogies. That made the initial reveal of Ragnarok that Ragnarok would truly be the end surprising. However, a third entry would have meant an even longer wait for a proper payoff, God of War director Cory Barlog explained in an interview. Does this surprise you at all?
Yeah. I mean, when we were talking about this before, I said that I thought this was going to be the middle part, and the third part was going to be like the actual act of Ragnarok that was going to like bring about the end of this. So the
Hmm.
fact that they're just jumping right into it is surprising. And I don't know. I feel like there's obviously gonna be more to the franchise. I just don't know if Kratos is gonna be a part of it. Um,
Yeah,
so this could lead to, because on the map in God of War there was Egyptian, I think, like old Japanese, Norse, and Greek. They've obviously done Greek. This is Norse. So there's two more to go through. So there's going to be more games. It's just whether or
yeah.
not Kratos is going to be there.
It okay. Before I get into that, I'm just gonna read a couple quotes from Corey.
Yep.
He says, so there are several reasons. I think one of the most important reasons is the game took 5 years. The second game, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm just going to throw it out that it's going to take close to a similar time. Uh, and if and then if you think, wow, a third one in the same length of time, we're talking the span of 15 years for a single story, and I feel like that's just too stretched out. I agree with that, but so he said the first game took 5 years. The second game, and they were working on that game up until that game 2018 came out. So if they're saying another 5 years, like, are we not getting this game next year? I mean, that's 4
That's
years. He's talking roughly.
I think holiday next year.
Okay.
Which would put it at just shy of 5, a little over 4.
Because this, like, the thing is, I completely lost what the hell I was just about to say because you were talking when you said uh more than 4 shy of 5. My brain didn't. I was like, how is that possible? There's no in between.
Well, like four and a half is what I was like. 4.5, 4 3/4 is what I was going for.
I got you.
Not just 4 or 5.
Um, but yeah, I do agree with the fact that it's like 15. It would be 15 years for a single story.
Yeah.
Um,
My thing is, I don't. I guess because I don't know anything about game development, I don't get why this is taking so long if it's reusing a lot of the same elements as 2018. Unless it's just a really long game.
yeah, I obviously neither of us are have any knowledge of game development. Like mine is very, 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 very limited. But um, yeah, I think that since this game is just there's like it's like quadruple A. It's like surpassed that triple A status where it's just so much and so much cinematics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that might have a lot to do with it. Also, COVID, and
I keep
like
forgetting COVID's around.
the like getting people to do like the voice acting and stuff like that um, was very difficult from what I heard of, with other developers. Like um, we talked about it very briefly, I think, in the Ghost of Tsushima um, when we reviewed that a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I don't know. I so now the other story is or the question that I have is you said that, and I believe this too, that you think that Kratos dies at the end of this game.
Well, I feel like he has to. I feel like the big fight is gonna be obviously Odin against Kratos and uh Atreus. I don't know if they're just gonna start calling him Loki or not yet, but I that's gonna be obviously the big thing, and I just feel like Kratos can't make it through.
I I agree, but I also I don't know. That's a big risk if they do kill Kratos. I'm
And that's the other part of it.
not that Sony is, The Last of Us. They're not afraid to do it. They're not.
But it's like that's gonna be the narrative from the piss babies is, well, you keep killing off all of our characters for these other ones, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, just like the fact that there's I don't know the character's name, but she's a black girl, and people are freaking out about that, and it's like there was no black girls over
Oh God, I
in
haven't
was
seen that, but
Scandinavia or whatever. It's like, yeah, there were, you fucking idiots.
yeah, like I was on Twitter a little bit, but when I was on vacation, I didn't I wasn't on it as much as I was before, like reading
Yeah.
like trying to get what the general like gaming audience is reacting to certain stories and stuff.
There's a bug up here.
But yeah, that I there's always going to be those people. I am surprised though that it's not going to be a trilogy, but I think I'm pleasantly surprised. I think that a lot of game although I love the gameplay of God of War, and however many God of War games they ever put out, I will buy. Um, but yeah, I think this is going to be interesting because if when we go on from here, is it going to be God of War anymore? Is it going to be Atreus who is like is it Atreus or Loki in other like mythologies and stuff like that? Like is that would be interesting, but I feel like you're losing what God of War is at that point. But I don't know.
I think the introduction to Tyr either gives them an excuse to kill off Kratos or an excuse to kill off a different god of war. So either
Hmm.
they're going to kill off Kratos and Tyr is going to be the god of war who's going to mentor Atreus,
Hmm.
or they're going to kill off Tyr.
Holy
And
shit, dude. That actually
yeah, either way, there's a god of war. See, I've had time to actually narrow down my thoughts.
yeah.
Are you on vacation? I was in the lab.
Dude, there's just so much, and I I hope I hope that the game when it comes out it's ready first and foremost, but
Yep.
I hope it's ready soon because I like it was slated for 2021. Obviously, like I don't think a single person believed it was going to hit in 2021, but um that like kind of gives me a little bit of hope that maybe we see it like spring 2022. But I just,
It's
obviously
probably gonna be later.
I want it to be done. I want it to be freshly baked all the way, ready to go. But yeah, I'm
I
really excited for this.
I really apologize, but I need to kill this bug. It just flew in front of the camera twice, and I saw it, and it drove me nuts.
Well, now he's just challenging you to a fight. So
Me fucker. Gotcha. All right, we're good.
nice. All right.
Next story.
Next story. Something that is coming in 2021. Halo Infinite. So we got news last week that the Halo Infinite flight, actually 2 weeks ago, that we is when we got the email sent out, or the notification that they're doing another flight. It's going to be back-to-back weekends, so it's going to be September 24th, this upcoming weekend. If you're listening to this on like podcast services, like today, if you were selected for it, and then also the following weekend, they're going to have big team battle. So this flight is going to include full PvP. So it's from what I understand, it's not. And this is from the Xbox Twitter account. It's not going to have like only the bots. We are going to have some PvP, and then the following week we're going to have big team battle to test that out. If you signed up for Halo Waypoint, the Insiders program, before September 13th, you are eligible, and they said that they were selecting everybody. So I know you said you didn't get an email yet, which is really surprising.
Still, as of this recording, actually, we're live. It's not really a recording. As of today, right now, this second, I have not gotten one.
Okay. Well, the one that I got only says, like, we're doing this, like, you're in the program. Look out for another email later. So maybe you'll get that one. But yeah, I'm really excited to try this, man. I missed out on the last flight. I was in the Insiders program. I didn't get picked. But I, on top of all the games that we're going to talk about later, now I have this coming up, and it's like I'm going to want to play this all weekend. So, is there anything that, if you do end up getting into this, is there anything that you want to see from the flight?
Griffball.
I go ahead.
I just want it to be fun, man. I just don't want it to be broken. I just want to have fun. Because all I've seen from the Call of Duty beta is that it's fucking garbage on Xbox. It's just running like shit. So what I want from Halo is to not have that. I want it to work. That's the bar at this point.
Well, okay. So if it is broken, at least this is like the flight, and the same with Call of Duty. Like, at least it's not like the finished product.
Yeah, thank God for them.
I would just like to see, like we have our group has been playing a little bit of the Master Chief Collection when we've been gaming on Friday nights and stuff. And although I still love it, I love Halo, and I just want to see it modernized. I want to feel like I'm playing it.
Yeah.
I want it to feel like I'm playing Halo in 2021. Like, I get nostalgic for the older games, but I'm not the type of person that like gets mad that they added sprint. Like, the game, like, it needs that for
Needed
me.
it.
Yeah.
It really needed it. Especially playing through the Master Chief Collection, so bouncing around from game to game.
Yeah.
You need sprint.
Yeah. It's just, it moves too slow without it. And
Yeah.
and I understand people who like that's what they grew up with, but then keep playing Master Chief Collection, because this is
Yeah.
it's 2021. We got to be
Certain
sprinting in our
point.
games.
You got to grow up. It's not 2005 anymore.
Some more shooter news. Not as exciting, quite unfortunate. Battlefield 2042 is getting delayed to November 19th. That's 2 weeks in, or 2 weeks after Call of Duty Vanguard comes out.
This is definitely coming out on Game Pass. Like, this is going to be within the first couple weeks. There's no way they're going to sell. They weren't going to sell before. Now they're really not going to sell.
So this is from the Battlefield official Twitter account. It says, we've made the decision to shift the launch of Battlefield 2042. The game will now be released worldwide on November 19th, 2021. Building the next generation of Battlefield during a global pandemic has created unforeseen challenges for our development teams. Yeah, just basically the COVID sucks and it made us delay our game. This is interesting because it felt like Battlefield was like, we're gonna have our time. We're gonna try to retain as many people as we can. We're gonna lose players to Call of Duty when it comes out. We know that, and then after that, there was that like month, and then it was Halo. So it was like the big three are back and competing, and now they sandwich themselves in between Call of Duty and Halo, and I don't think that's a good move.
No,
Um,
it's awful for them. I don't
the,
see it working out well.
the amount of people who are going to play Call of Duty and not even care about Battlefield 2 weeks later, I feel like whereas if you're the first one to shoot, you're getting people who are like, oh, I want to play a new FPS, and they'll give it a shot. Man, I don't
The
know.
only thing I can think of is if Call of Duty is dog shit, then those people are going to want something to hold them off uh, until Halo.
Yeah, I just think the like general mass audience does not care if Call of Duty's dog shit. It still sells like crazy. Um,
But there's also not a lot of games that give you that. Like there hasn't been a new Battlefield in however long. At least a good revamped one, and there hasn't been a Halo in however long. So it's like to have those options now. I'm not. People are going to buy Call of Duty. Like
sure,
it
yeah,
doesn't matter how many new suits come out against Activision Blizzard. People are going to buy Call of Duty. It's just a matter of if they stick with it or not.
yeah. Um,
Because this time around, they don't have to.
and I'm sure there are going to be people who they play Vanguard and they hate it, and they do want to look for something else, and they have the Battlefield. But I don't think there's that many people who necessarily want to spend $70 on Call of Duty and then 2 weeks later $70 on another FPS. Um, the, if you're gonna go second or if you're gonna go last, you either better be established, which Battlefield lost a lot of their credibility. Call of Duty, unfortunately, whether we like it or not, is established. They sell no matter what. Warzone is huge. Or you got to be free to play, which Halo is. So that's the other
That's
plus that Halo has.
the other thing is that. So if I guess this is just I don't know. Warzone's free, and if it
Yeah,
is built off the Vanguard engine, you can test out how well you like how it plays before
right.
buying Call of Duty. So there's a lot of ways it can go. I mean, either way, I don't think Battlefield's going to sell well. I think it's going to be abysmal. They're going to take it as a flop, and it'll be on Game Pass probably around the same time Halo is. There's another fucking bug in here. What the fuck is going on? Are my windows open?
My window's open. Um, yeah, it is going to be interesting to see. I do think it ends up on Game Pass sooner than later. Um, I don't think that they have what it. I don't think this game is going to be. Um,
Got it. We're good. Sorry, I was
okay.
listening. I was listening. I
I
just
I just don't think that Battlefield has it right now, and I don't think that charging $70 for multiplayer only
it,
is going to be that enticing to people.
and that's the part that I forgot is that it's only multiplayer. That is, oof. They have a
Um,
lot working against them right now.
and this just added to it, in my opinion. You
Yeah.
know, I'm rooting for them. I was talking to Steven, my brother-in-law. He was on vacation with us, and I was talking with him, and I said, if Battlefield 2042 reviews come out, and or you get access to play the beta or something, and it is like amazing, like how willing are you to commit to that for the fall? And this was, I think, prior to it getting delayed, and he said, I don't think I'd be willing to purchase the game knowing that we have like Halo coming out. shortly after. So even someone who like he is a huge Battlefield fan, even he is just like I don't know about it. So I don't know. We'll see. It'll be exciting to see. It's always exciting to have competition for sure, though. Having the big three back this year, it can only do good. Even if they miss at the start, putting on Game Pass, adding things, listening to the community is going to be huge for them. So even if they flop out of the gate, they have a chance to catch up later on. I think at least.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I just I feel bad for him, if anything. Not for
Yeah,
EA. EA is still bad, but I mean, I really wanted Battlefield to do well, and they just shot themselves in the foot. And then with
yeah,
this, shot themselves in the other foot.
yeah. We'll see. Um, Next up, we got Xbox console streaming added to PCs. This is something that I just wanted to throw in for people who own Xboxes. This is a really cool thing that I used a lot with my PlayStation. Um, I used it on my phone mostly, and so hopefully this does end up coming to phones. But I'm pulling this from Hiron Cryer at Games Radar. It says Xbox
Oh
Remote
boy.
Play now includes game streaming for PC players. You'll need Windows 10 or later to stream Xbox games directly to your PC. It says you can now remotely play Xbox games on your PC thanks to new streaming tech from Microsoft. Just yesterday, on September 14th, Xbox announced a brand new feature for their ongoing push into streaming technology via Xbox Wire blog post. The key feature of the new update for the streaming tech is that Windows 10 and later users will now be able to stream Xbox games directly to their PCs. So, and then also the max resolution is 1080p at 60 frames per second, which if you're streaming, like that's probably all you're going to be. That's like the most you'll be capable of, um, at least in a where you're not lagging and shit constantly. Um, So yeah, this is like PlayStation had this, and I actually used it kind of often, where you just stream your console. So it's not Game Pass, it's not connecting to the cloud services. It's just using your internet connection at home and sending that signal to your laptop or like desktop at work, or uh, phone like they don't have phones yet, it's just for PCs, but I knowing Xbox it's coming, like they'll have it out for
Yeah.
phones. um yeah, really cool for especially for people who don't have Game Pass or don't have Game Pass Ultimate and don't have the Xbox cloud streaming, or if you want to play a game on your phone or your laptop away from your house and the game's not on Game Pass. So any of the like bigger AAA games, if you wanted to play those. It just gives you the option, and this is mostly just like Xbox continuing to give people every single option that they want to play Xbox games, and that's sick.
I mean, I think when we started this show, I was shitting on Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd like to backtrack that officially on episode 14 because I was thinking about it and like Back for Blood, Halo, uh, what is the other game that's day one? Psychonauts 2 just came out. That would have been what $180, and
Yeah,
now it's what 15. I think 30 if you count the months that they're coming out or whatever. But like that's pretty good. And the way they're
yeah,
making it easier and easier for everyone to play their games and everyone to get Game Pass, it's pretty good.
yeah. I'm telling you, man. Like obviously, Sony brought the hype a few weeks ago. Um, so like I still feel really good about where both companies are,
Yeah.
although especially with a couple of the games we're going to talk about a little bit later on. But yeah, I think both. I was going to say something, but I want this to be a topic later on. Um, both companies are in a really good spot, and I guess Nintendo is too. Sure. Um, Speaking of which, tomorrow, this just announced today, Nintendo Direct will be showcased. tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. As I said before the stream, Peastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time. So Nintendo tweeted, tune in 9:23 at 3 p.m. Pacific time for a Nintendo Direct live stream featuring roughly 40 minutes of information focused mainly on Nintendo Switch games launching this winter. I feel like there was a time where I was like super hyped for these. And I don't know if it's just because we had the Nintendo Direct at E3. I don't even know what they could announce for like this upcoming winter that's like super hype.
So was this the topic you were talking about? Because I have a couple ideas.
No, yeah, you're
I
good.
have
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yes. So Mario Kart 9, which is just Mario Kart 8, but it looks nicer. I don't.
Mhm.
Maybe a new 3D Mario game. Uh, and maybe some like an actual release date or an update on Breath of the Wild 2, and then probably like Smash characters. But like I don't none of the except for Breath of the Wild 2 and I guess kinda a 3D Mario. Like I don't care about any of those. I don't even care about Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8 is this it's gonna be the same thing.
I would get
Like I
pretty
don't
hyped for Mario Kart 9.
I that's my and this is my issue that we keep coming back to with Nintendo is like it's the same fucking game. You're just putting out the same game. Because your hardware isn't any different. It's the same thing. So you're just putting out the same game. And
Yeah,
like maybe you add a couple characters to it or something, but
yeah, a couple of courses. Um, yeah, so I think what I don't think we're seeing Breath of the Wild again until it's close to being ready to come out. Like I think there's a chance we don't even see it until next E3. I in terms so what they said mainly games coming in the winter, so it gives them a little bit of room if they want to tease a 3D
that's where
Mario or
that's where my
something like
head was for
that.
Breath of the Wild too, is because they said mostly in winter. So I was
Yeah.
thinking, oh, they might show something.
Unless they completely shock the fucking world and Breath of the Wild's coming like in the winter next year, which in that case I will literally I will lose any kind of cool that I have on this. Also, we're most likely going to be live streaming it. That's
So if you want to see John cream his pants tomorrow, tune in.
there's a chance. There's a it's not impossible. If
There's
that
a
happens,
non-zero chance that you see John piss shit and come
I
live on
will
stream.
I will probably go completely backwards in this chair, just freaking the fuck out. But yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna see Nintendo Switch Online get an update, with either Game Boy or Nintendo 64 games. I think that we're gonna get some kind of announcement for that. Um, John and I's favorite era of video games, the N64. Um, I will say, John, you have to play Ocarina of Time if they do come.
Well, I'll tell you, John, I don't have to fucking do anything.
You have to play Ocarina of Time. You have to.
I forgot about the Game Boy thing. If they come out with like if they put red, blue, gold, and silver Pokemon on Switch, you bet your ass I'll play that. Ocarina of Time, probably not.
You
Garbage me.
John, it's you have to.
I mean, is it like a 3D game?
Yeah.
Or is it
Yep.
okay. That gives it a little maybe that's at like 17% now.
17? Come
Yeah.
on. Dude, it's no. You have to.
You told me I would enjoy the first Zelda and I should try that, and then I did it and it was dog shit.
What Zelda?
The one that's on the whatever it is, I don't know what it's called.
The
But it had the
NES?
yeah.
No, I said the SNES.
You told me to play it. And it was garbage, you son of a bitch.
No. No, it was I told you to play Link to the Past.
You think I would have wasted my time if like on my own what is the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't have done it without being told. On my own free will. There it is. No shot.
But yeah, other than that, I would love to see a teaser for a 3D Mario. I feel like it's weird. Like I feel like it's been like we had Super Mario 3D World announced or actually come out earlier this year, um, which I enjoyed playing, and I got COVID when I was playing it, and then I haven't touched it since.
The way you said it sounded like that game gave you COVID.
We just don't know. We I don't know where it came
You
from.
know, no one does.
So but yeah, other than that,
Oh,
it just feels like it's been such a long period of time since we've had any kind of Mario hype. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I would love to see Bayonetta 3. Uh, that would get me pretty hyped. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they could show other than like the obvious stuff to get me like super
that's
hyped.
all they. I mean, that's all they have. Like people are saying, uh, the same people that have been pushing since the beginning is that new Switch Pro or Switch Pro,
No
and
shot.
it's like, what? How? Like what the fuck are you talking about? They just put out OLED.
It's not even out
Every
yet. It comes out next
Yeah,
month, so there's no shot they announced that. That would just
and even
undercut
that, I mean,
all sales.
it's like what no one can get the materials to make new consoles.
Yeah.
Nintendo sure as shit isn't gonna try, especially when they're still buying the Switch. Like what?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Come hang out tomorrow on YouTube. I know for a fact I will at least be doing it. Um, I just, I just don't. I.
You think I'm gonna miss the opportunity to shit on Nintendo for 40 straight minutes?
That's a good point.
Come on now.
Um, so yeah, come hang out on the YouTube tomorrow. Um, and see what it's all about. Uh, next up and last up, it's hardly news, kind of. I'm pulling from Sean Hollister at The Verge. Nvidia leak may reveal unannounced games, including God of War for PC.
Oh, Skadios.
If you made an Nvidia GeForce Now server spit out a If you made an NVIDIA GeForce Now server spit out a confidential list of thousands of
There
games,
we go.
some never before seen, would you think they were legit, fake, somewhere in between? That's not a rhetorical question because developer Igor
Of
uh,
course.
July has found such a list, including games like PlayStation exclusive God of War, seemingly coming to Windows PC via Steam. If you'd like to scan it yourself, Steam DB creator. Uh, okay, yeah, I'm not going into this. So later on in the article, it says we know graphics giant Nvidia has access to games long before they're released, and we know Sony, in particular. It says in particularly. Error. I found it.
But
Gotcha,
the
Sean.
dude. Oh, okay. I thought Igor wrote it. I was gonna say he's in Transylvania.
And we know Sony in particular has been banking. So this is legit what it says.
Sean, you need an editor. I mean, come on.
Sony in particularly has been banking on PlayStation games on PC.
Gee,
Uh,
Sean, get it together.
it quietly revealed Uncharted 4 is coming to PC after seeing 250% return on its investment for porting Horizon Zero Dawn to the platform. And it was just Thursday that Sony announced that it would be that game would be a part of the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection. So too do Demon Souls and Final Fantasy. The games were where Sony had to retroactively retract all mentions of PC to make them sound like PlayStation exclusives. PlayStation 5 exclusive Returnal appears as well as Final Fantasy VII Remake for PC.
Yeah. See, I read this news last week.
Yes.
Was real upset that you weren't here so we could talk about it. Because I feel like we just have a conversation about this a couple weeks ago
Yeah.
about what we thought was coming next, and we
Yeah.
both said God of War.
Yeah. So if this is true, obviously this is not confirmed. This is just a leak, and it could very well all be bullshit.
It's allegedly.
Yes. So grain of salt and all that. But also in another article I read, another game that was in there it says BioShock RTX remaster. which it would be like adding ray tracing and stuff. And then BioShock 2022.
I saw that and was like, wait a minute. They've
That
been quiet.
it could be BioShock 4.
They've been real quiet, haven't they?
That would be insanely hyped for me. Like
Yeah.
I tried not to get too excited because I know all of this could be
Bullshit.
all yeah. So this would be really cool to see though. It'd be really surprising to see like Returnal and Demon Souls anytime soon for sure. That would be really weird.
I
Um
could see Returnal if for no other reason than it seemed like a very PC kind of game, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Uh God of War I can definitely see. Uncharted obviously is coming. That was right. Um I don't know about the other one. I can't remember what you said, but
Demon Souls.
yeah, that.
Launched with
Although
the PS5.
maybe it's been a year.
Uh,
Get more sales on it, I guess.
Yeah, that's the argument I could see for Returnal because I don't know if it even sold 1 million copies.
I don't think it did as of today.
I think PC sales would be really big for it. But yeah, I it's about time Final Fantasy VII remake shows up on another platform. Um
God, I love that game.
yeah, big same. So, yeah, this would be really cool to see. Um would you are any of these games that you would play on PC instead of PlayStation?
I might try Returnal, but that's probably it. God of
So,
War, I mean, probably not. I don't see a reason to play it on PS4 or PC because I already played it on PS5.
yeah,
Um, Demon Souls, I have no interest in. Uncharted, I already played.
it'd be really interesting to see you play Demon Souls.
I don't have the patience.
Yeah,
That's not my thing. That's why Returnal, I said I might because I don't have patience.
yeah, that I still haven't beat that game. Um, it's fun as hell. It's just the funny thing is I couldn't get through the third biome. But then I had this run where I got to like the fifth. I beat like the third and fourth and this and like on my first try. Well, not my third. I beat the fourth on my first try, and I was like, oh, did the game get easier? And then the fifth one just shit on me. Um, but
How
yeah,
many are there?
I believe six.
Oh, so you were right there too.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I love that game though, and I'm definitely not. I definitely will be going back to it. But um, yeah, it'd just be really cool to see because I'm all for putting games everywhere. Personally, but that's it for the news. John,
Yes, sir.
while I was gone last week,
Yes, sir.
what were you playing?
Psychonauts 2. Actually, I don't know if you knew, but I took over this channel. I
Uh,
hacked the mainframe and I played an hour of Psychonauts 2 and I complained the entire time because I couldn't get my controller to connect. Since then, I finished it off cameras and it. Do you want to get right into it?
um,
Or do you want to see what you were playing?
we can. I'll talk about what I've been playing since we
Yeah.
both have finished Psychonauts. Um, so I did play a little bit more Psychonauts before I left for vacation. Just running around doing some extra stuff here and there. Um, but then I get back from vacation Saturday, instantly download Deathloop. Then play that until Tuesday. I get home from work yesterday, download Kena Bridge of Spirits. Um, I am about 8 hours into Deathloop, and maybe like 2, 3 ish into Kina Bridge of Spirits. So real quick, I'm just gonna not, obviously I'm not doing any spoilers. I just wanted to give everyone just a little bit, um, like a feeler for the game. So if you're interested in it, um, to go pick it up if it's something that it sounds intriguing to you. But so Deathloop is anyone who's seen any PlayStation showcase in the last year, you've probably seen it 4 or 5 times. Um, it is fucking amazing. It is now everyone who's been watching and anyone who knows me, I admit it. I suffer from recency bias so badly. But right now, it's my favorite game that's come out this year. I am such a huge fan of Arcane. Dishonored 1 and 2 have been in my like top 10 games like of all time. They're some of my favorite designs in video games. And this really feels like an extension of that. It's really strange because I went into it knowing this is a Bethesda game, this is like Arcane, and all these games have like that, if you want to call it charming, Bethesda jank to it. This is the most polished Arcane game and probably the most polished Bethesda game I have ever played. Um, it is so it's not like I know it seems like it is a roguelike where you're restarting, but every single loop that you have, you do make progress into the story, and there are certain parts that you can take with you in each run. So it's not like you restart completely. Um, Something that they say in the game is that knowledge is the most important thing. So like you're exploring the world, you're finding notes, you're finding things here and there, you're finding out where each visionary is. So to beat the game, you have to kill 8 visionaries, and that's how you break the loop and you survive. Um, you can't do that on your first try. Whereas in like Returnal, if you started that game and you were like a god at video games, you could beat that on your first run. That's where this starts to differentiate itself from a roguelike. And that's why a lot of people are getting confused. And I think that's probably why they showed it off so much, because they wanted people to know like this isn't Returnal, this isn't Hades, this isn't like anything like that.
And
Um,
that's what they kept saying, but that's what I've heard about like that game 12 minutes too, is that you can't beat it in the first go. You have to lose in order to progress.
yeah, 100%. You have to die. Just realized Peach was staring at me in the corner here. Um,
She was just looking at the ceiling a little bit ago. Just
so just a couple notes that I have from this game. Um, the the main character Colt, his interactions with Juliana, she is the a visionary that uh I don't know much about yet. Like I don't know what their relationship is. He like makes hints at it here and there. Um, it is phenomenal. It is so good. It's so funny. It's so well done. Like there's times when I was watching the any of the previews and like the trailers and stuff, and I was like, oh, it's just gonna be like super over the top. He almost kind of sounds like Barrett in Final Fantasy VII remake, where it's just
yeah.
like fucking this, fucking that, and all this stuff. And but when you get into the game, the they talk a lot. The dialogue between them is really good. It's really funny, um, and it just has this like a such a distinct style, and I really dig it. I liked Dishonored. I like the I think it's called whale punk style of Dishonored. A lot of people didn't, but I vibe with that a lot. But this is by far the most polished and the most fun I think I've had in a Bethesda or Arcane game. I really, really recommend this to anybody who liked Dishonored, um, and people who didn't give Dishonored a try. The gunplay is really fun. It's and the story is at least intriguing enough where like I got to the point all day on Monday because I didn't work on Monday. I literally played it all day, and I was just like, all right, after this loop, I gotta go get groceries. And then I like played through the loop, and I was like, but like now I have this information, so I want to go. Like I gotta try and do this mission. Um, it's just one of those games where I genuinely sat and played for 6 hours on Monday. Um, really, really fucking good. I cannot recommend it enough. So far, I haven't beat it yet. Um, it's a 10 out of 10 for me so far. Do you have any other questions about it?
I'm not asking any questions. Just for the general public, I haven't played it yet, and I'm trying to go in blind. That's my new thing. Is I'm trying to go into every game I play completely blind and just experience it for what it is. Because I feel
Um,
like when I go in with when I go in with like my ideas, it ends up like it messes with my opinion on it once I'm done.
sure. Um, that is something that is really important to understand in the next game that I've been playing. Kena Bridge of Spirits. Um, I've seen it, it generally has reviewed well. I've seen a lot of people saying that, at least online. I haven't talked to people in person about this game, but um, they're treating it as if it's like a PlayStation first party game. And the reason why I think is because it looks so
Good.
good.
Yeah.
It looks like a Pixar movie that you're playing. It has a similar polish to it as Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart. This game also, I'm not gonna say game of the year, but is I really, really have enjoyed the brief couple hours that I played with it. Um, it I went into this thinking I gotta remember this is an indie game. For its MSRP is $40. Um, I remember like just going into it thinking this is an indie game. This is the first game Ember Lab, the developers, have ever made. They've made short films before. This is the first video game they've ever played, and you would not be able to tell. Um,
Yeah.
it has like kind of this like hack and slash types gameplay, but also there are different elements in the combat. There are these little creatures called rot, which is a weird name for them because they're actually really cute. But you collect them throughout the world, and one of the other parts of the with the rot is you can buy hats, and they're little black creatures, but you can put hats on them and stuff. Um, and they generally they are like all of them follow you around, and you can use them in combat. So you can send them to pick up health. You can send them at the beginning of every battle. They get scared and they run away. But as you kill little enemies or take chunks out of the bosses, they drop what's called courage. And so if you pick up the courage, then you get like you fill up your courage bar, and then you can send the rot to do an attack.
Okay.
So there's levels to the combat, and it's like so far it's been really fun. And then there's like depending on how many rot you find in the world, like you can do different um actions with them. But it's like I said, the style and like the overall fidelity is just absolutely insane. And they did something that was really weird. So like the gameplay on PS5 is 60 frames per second. Um, the cutscenes appear to be like 24 frames per second, which is what movies shoot in. Um, so I think it's their because like I've said they have that history in making like short films and animated films and stuff. I think they took that and made it um into like they infused that into a game.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I really dig it so far. It has some kind of like some outdated elements like the platforming feels very um like early, like uh, a review that I listened to, they kept calling it a PlayStation 2 game. Um,
Yikes.
they didn't mean it as like an insult. It was kind of funny. They were saying that, when you play it, you kind of the platforming feels like
Clunky.
kind of, but I there because there's a double jump that a lot of people's from what I've seen their issues with it is it isn't as like accurate. Um, I don't know. I think that the rest of the game makes up for where that kind of outdated traversal is. Like I think it makes up for that. But yeah, I think the game has a lot of charm to it, and I think that it's a game that I'll keep coming back to even after I beat it to because there's other things in the world that you can find that you can go through. I don't know if I'd classify it as open world. It's a linear story, but you can go throughout the world. I almost like a 3D Ori.
So when the video you sent me, that's the vibe I got from it.
Yeah.
Like
I
that's what it reminded me of was Ori.
I just like in my head when I'm thinking of it, I think it is that's a really good comparison. Is a 3D like Ori the vibe and everything. I think that I don't think it's as polished as Ori is, but I think it really is good. I um
Yeah.
and the only other thing that I have to say about it is it's surprisingly challenging. Um Obviously it comes off as this like family friendly like like kids game because just the whole style of it, and not that it's like impossible, it's not Dark Souls, it's but it is challenging. I've died on a boss a couple times. This one boss that I just fought, it was a tree knight. I it took me a while to figure out what I was supposed to do, and the dodging and stuff is a little clunky. That but that I died like 5 or 6 times. Um, but yeah, so it there is different difficulties, and I'm just playing on the normal one. Um, but yeah, just like Deathloop, I really do recommend this game a lot to people who are interested in like 3D platforming with action adventure style. Um, and for $40, I think that's a fucking steal. I think that this is this I I don't think I would um scoff at least playing what I played now. I don't think I would consider $60 a bad value at this. I think that this is so far has been well worth the $40.
Yeah. And I'm especially with games going for $70 now on PlayStation,
Yeah.
40 is not bad for a game.
Yeah.
Like Ori, the bosses in Ori are tough too, and that comes off as like a child's game.
Yeah.
So comparison still holds in my eyes.
Yeah. Um so yeah, that's two I don't know if I would put it in my game of the year discussion at the end of the year. Um if I did, it would be like probably between like the 6, 7, and 10 range. Um, we'll see when we get there because I am the type of person that needs space away from a game, time away from it to really think about how much I because at the time, like I said, playing Deathloop, I'm like, yeah, great, like easily best game of the year. I play Kana, and then I'm like, oh man, like this is like I didn't feel like it was game of the year, but I don't know if I think that it's better than it is or whatever, just because I really enjoy it right now. So, um, but it definitely is a very quality game, and I really do enjoy it.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
I'm definitely trying Deathloop. I might try Kina eventually.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, a game that will be in my discussion for game of the year is Psychonauts 2. But I've been talking too much. So, John, what did you think about Psychonauts 2?
So this is I made a point to say that I go into games with expectations and it ruins them for me, and I think this game is why I said that. I think it was fun. It was a good game, but I felt like it was all over the place. And at least until like the back half. And I don't with how I unplugged my light. Um with how
Well, the tone just got really dark.
okay.
So okay.
With how yeah, I have a backup, don't worry guys. Um with how much I loved the first game, it was kind of disappointing that this one didn't seem as like they didn't take as many chances, I guess. But it was more the topic of mental health was more like it was discussed to the point, and
Yeah.
it was done a lot better in this one. I think there were way too many cutscenes, like way too many.
Hmm.
Um, and I think, and this isn't a knock on the game, but it's not meant to run on Xbox One. It's meant to run on next gen. Xbox One, I had 2-minute load screens when I was switching between worlds and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it kept glitching out. I would get stuck a bunch. It would just kind of pause in between like dialogue and going back to gameplay. Like it wasn't meant to run on it. It was running like shit. Um,
Wow.
that's not a knock on the game. I mean, it's just not meant for the previous generation of consoles. It's meant for next gen. Like, because on my PC, that full first hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it was, it ran perfect.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, man. I still think it was good and I enjoyed myself. I just feel like I was left wanting a little bit more. Like, because with the first one, you know there's going to be a second one. With the second one, you don't know if there's going to be a third. There's loose ends, but they're not that loose.
Yeah. The first one had very blatant loose ends.
Yeah, there was a lot to sort out. And then like the three characters that like well not even the three. Ford doesn't come into play until the end of the game for the most part. Like he you put his mind together, but in the first one like his mind wasn't that far gone. That threw me completely for a loop unless I missed something.
I think that that's why he was in the basement in the first game. Like that's why he wasn't allowed to be.
But what I mean is like he was at least somewhat put together. Like he could have conversations and shit.
Yeah.
And like he was cognate? Cog he knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And like in this one, there was the three different versions of it, and he was just scatterbrained. He didn't know who you were, he didn't know what was going on, he just knew who he was in that personality.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
the other two, the what are their names? The French looking dude and
Oh,
the girl that
Sasha.
looks like yeah, the girl that looks like Casey Musgraves. I think it was either Zach or Amanda said that, and it fucking stuck. That's all I can think of the rest of the time. Um, but the two of them, they're not even in the game.
Yeah, they don't play big parts in it at
Neither does
all.
Oleander after he was the main villain of the first. It just felt I don't know. It felt like fan service almost.
Hmm. Yeah,
Again,
I
I like the game, but those are just I'm gonna plug in my light while you're talking. I can still hear you though.
I had a completely different vibe. I from the second that game started, I fucking loved it, dude. I think it was obviously more polished than the first one with all that time in between. There was a lot more I feel like they had a really good grasp on what they wanted to say. Whereas I think in 2005 they wanted to have the discussion about mental health. Now it's just full blown out there. The descriptions, whenever when something new would come up, like the anxiety attack or something like that, it would give a
The panic
description.
attack.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the panic attack.
That was the best enemy thing I think I've done because it is so spot on where it's like you need to slow it down in order
Yep,
to beat it.
yep,
Like that sort of shit, the mental health shit,
yeah.
incredible.
I think that it does a lot of good there. Um, and in terms of the levels, I think there was so much variety and there were so many memorable ones. Um, Real quick, what was your favorite level throughout the entire thing?
Um, shit. Probably the bowling alley.
Okay.
Where you
I
ride the bowling balls.
Yeah. Um that one was really frustrating for me for some reason. I the one where you're like moving on the cranes that are moving up and you have to like roll on
Yep,
yeah, that part. The music one for me was it.
that's my second one.
I fucking loved that part. Um but yeah, I think there are more memorable obviously the first one of the Milkman, which is all time. That's like all time video game level for me.
I guess
Um,
that's what I mean is like even in like Milkman where like the world is turning as you're going, like and you have to adjust with like the curves and stuff. And this one it just seemed kind of you're in the world and you go on the platforms. With the exception of like one or two of them.
mm, yeah, I I do agree that I think the story um may have been better in the first one. Um, but yeah, I think it's hard to tell a story when the game's levels are just going in somebody's mind. Um, because the real life consequences of everything, like you're going inside someone's mind, and but in real life it's like 5 minutes for them. So like if like I feel like it's really hard to tell that while not being all over the place, like you said. Um but yeah, this was one of the rare games that I completed and I instantly jumped back in because I wanted to start to get the figments and I wanted to I don't think I'll ever 100% it, but I wanted to get closer just because it was so fun.
I've gotten pretty close. That's what I spent the last day or so doing instead of starting Deathloop. So I was like, maybe this will change my opinion if I do these other things and you know
Mm,
stay in the world. And I don't know. Like they left the thing with your sister wide open, where like she's a psychic, your youngest brother's a psychic.
yeah.
It's not really talked about. Uh, your grandmother isn't your grandmother. Your grandmother's actually dead. This is somebody else who's related to the bad guy who's inside of her head. It like that's so convoluted for no reason.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is to stop the bad guy, which is just like the bad part of someone's mind, which is like what you're fighting off for everybody anyways. It's just
Yeah.
like the worst things this person has done is what you're fighting.
Uh the narrative of like Raz said it a couple times, like we all have this part of you in our mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um she this part in her mind was brought out and kind of taken advantage of because of stuff that happened in her country. Like this was forced out of her and it was passion that was um misused and it ended up being this monster. Um, so that's why I like I really enjoyed that part where I think they hammered it home a couple times. Maybe a little too much where they kept saying like we have this part of you. Everyone has this part of you, and that's what his
Yeah.
final thing was to her when he said it. Where it's just like everybody is capable of being the villain. Everybody is capable of being what everyone sees as the biggest threat. Like everyone, like Hitler was just a man.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
like
Nope. Nope.
like
We don't.
but
We're not doing that.
like everyone is like eh, that obviously is such a fucking extreme exaggeration,
You could have gone with so many other options. You didn't have to go to Hitler.
but
You could have.
I just like I really like that narrative where it's just like anybody's capable of doing it, but like remembering like that you don't have to be like that's not, you're at the end of the day it's a choice, even though you were like manipulated and stuff. Like you that doesn't make you who you are. And the fact that in the last game with Oleander and now with Maligula in this game, that they aren't just like thrown into prison, like they're given second chance because their mistakes and their the things that they have done don't define them, you know. So
I guess the big bad in this one is Nick from the mailroom, who isn't actually Nick from the mailroom, and nothing's ever really done about him. He just
yeah,
you
what?
just you just kind of beat him, and then you don't even beat him. You go inside his head, and then okay, now you're onto the boss. It was a different person inside a different mind. It's like what? Well, what was the point of that then? What was the point of the swerve?
I am kind of struggling to think about what happened to Nick from the mailroom.
Nothing. They just said they were going to take him and experiment on him,
Hmm.
and that was it. Like there wasn't. That's what I mean about like closure. There, I mean,
Sure.
I think the hard part isn't necessarily trying to tell a story through like the 5 minute intervals where you're in someone's head or whatever. It's more so that they're trying to tell a story. They're trying to pick up where they left off 15 years ago or whenever it was. And like that's really hard to do without some sort of time skip.
Yeah.
And this is a time skip of 2 days. Like there needed to be years in between.
Hmm.
I feel like in order for this to really, really like work. And I hope they make the third one. Maybe Nick comes back. Who knows? You know? I
Yeah.
but I feel like if they make a third one, they have to advance the time a little bit. They can't just okay, everyone's still kids. We're in the same exact spot.
Did you like the extra psychic powers, psychic abilities?
Um the the mind connection one was kind of cool. It was just that the slowdown was that was a nice addition. The paper
Yeah.
one, I used it when I had to, but it wasn't like something I kept around.
Yeah, that was the weakest part of the game in my opinion. Um
That whole library thing was bad. Oh, the mailroom was really good. I forgot about that level, but I really like that
yeah.
one too. I
Um
had fun with the typewriter before I actually did the mission. We could just write pee pee poo poo.
yeah, I wrote fuck you bitch on it.
There you
So,
go.
um because I was getting really irritated. And I actually didn't know what to do for a little bit on that one. I kept getting like stuck for some reason. Um but yeah, so that was my biggest complaint at the end of when I finished it was I didn't think they added like the mental connection was fine. The paper one just felt like we had to come up with something.
Yeah.
This the only one that I thought was really cool was the slow down time one where like it actually played into there was a reason for it. Um
The
although
mind connection.
go
Sorry.
ahead.
The mind connection was good in a fight. It was fun to use to just drag someone towards you and then,
Really?
uh, yeah. Did you use it?
I never once used it in a fight.
Yeah, no, it latches onto enemies and like brings them towards you,
Yep.
which
Nope.
is,
Never
yep.
did it.
That's a fun thing to do. That's the only reason I enjoyed it. Other than that, I mean, it's whatever.
I used fire a lot.
I didn't.
I used it very, very often.
The
Um
two that I always kept equipped were the blaster and the ball.
the
And then
telekinesis.
that's the hand. I mean like the ball that you ride on.
Is that not telekinesis?
No, telekinesis is where you got the big orange hand that like does this.
What is that called then? The ball.
I don't know, I think pregnant women use it in like Lamaze class.
I hate you.
All right. Oh, so you
Um,
can make Hitler jokes, but I can't make pregnancy jokes. All right.
um
Jesus. Go on vacation, you get a tan, you think you're better than me? Fuck you.
levitation.
There it is.
Um But yeah, the paper one, it just felt like, although it was kind of cool to like go back to the main headquarters after and to go through all the spots that you couldn't get through before with the paper one. It just like for me, other than doing those little puzzles, which really was nothing, I didn't think was like whatever. But other than that, I loved every other aspect of the game. I'm kind of shocked that you. I mean, I know you said you liked it, but I'm shocked that you
Yeah,
had.
like I'd still give it like a 7.5 to 8. You know, like I liked it. I thought it was fun. I just because the first one had such a like it knew what it wanted to do. It knew the narrative it wanted, the story it wanted to tell.
Yeah.
And this one seemed like it wanted to tell a story, but and like I'm not knocking it for this, but I feel like it wanted to tell a story, but it wanted to talk about mental health more, and the story kind of took a back seat to
Mm.
that, which is fair, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like those stories are important, especially to a you know. It looks like a kids game. If kids play it, it's good. They'll learn.
Yeah.
But just the story felt like a backseat, and the characters themselves felt like they took an even further backseat. Like there wasn't really any development.
Mm. Yeah. Well, um, did you have anything else to add for it?
I don't understand Lily and Raz.
What do you mean?
I get their kids, but yeah, it's like the Nick from New Girl and Jess, where it's just a will they, won't they? Are they, aren't they?
They call each other boyfriend and girlfriend here and there.
But she said that's my boyfriend, but she won't talk about it.
Yeah, because they're kids.
Yeah, that's what it's just like. It's like New Girl. They like each other, but they won't say it.
Um. So you said your rating. You said 7.5.
You know what? I'll give it a. I'll give it an 8. No, I'll give it a 7.8 out of 10.
Oh, we're doing like intervals like that, like the
I am
um.
because I feel like 7.5 is too low, but 8 is being too generous.
I think I will give it 1 point higher. I'll go 8.8. I liked it
That's
better.
fair.
I liked it better than the first one. Um, and yeah, I forgot what I gave this. I think I gave the first one a 7.5 or an 8. I forgot.
I think I
Uh,
gave the first one an 8, which is why I'm marking this one a little bit lower.
so
I
you
think.
felt like the first one was better for you.
Yeah, I mean, we've said like I'm a broken record at this point, but I like story-driven
Yeah,
games, and I feel like this one didn't have as strong of a story.
that's fair. Well, soon, hopefully, we will have maybe we'll do a full blown like spoiler review on Deathloop whenever you beat that. Aside from the podcast, because like that might be a game that I want to like really dive further into. Um, but at some point we're gonna have to talk a little bit more about that because, like I said, I really do think it's gonna end up being my favorite game this year.
I plan on starting it this weekend, so
It's
you know,
pretty long. I think it's longer than any Dishonored game I've ever played.
I don't know how long that is. If it's at least like 15 to 20 hours, I'll be good.
I could see it being like 12, 15, and then if you do a lot of like extras, um it all depends on if you rush in. You like even the Dishonored games, you could probably beat them in like 6 to 8 hours. Like if you just rush through, you don't do any of the like the stuff that makes Dishonored, or if you don't do what makes Deathloop, like you could rush through and probably get to the end of the story in 12 hours. But the fun part is finding hints and finding information around the world that gives you
Yeah.
information to take into your next loop so you can try to knock out these visionaries all in one run. But we'll get into that another time. And that will be it for us today. Before we go, just want to remind everyone to like and sub to the YouTube channel. We appreciate you guys for checking us out. Also, if video isn't your thing, we have the show go up every Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern time, not Peastern.
Well,
On
Peastern too.
well, it would be
5 a.m.
5
Eastern
a.m.
time.
5 a.m. Peastern. So, yeah, that's going to be on iTunes, Google, and Spotify. If you like the show, then the best way to help us out is to leave a review, positive one, if you liked it. But
Or
yeah,
you can leave a negative review. Just give us 5 stars. You
yeah,
know?
facts. Constructive criticism with the 5 stars. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Come hang out with us tomorrow when we watch the Nintendo Direct. We're going to live stream that. And until
If
then,
you listen to this on Friday, then you missed it. Joke's on you.
it'll still be
Go
up
watch
as a
it on
VOD.
YouTube.
Yep.
Yep.
Until tomorrow evening, stay horny, stay hydrated.